A lot of people now, of course, in the wake of suggestions made by the Obama administration for reform of the, and Geithner, for reform of the financial system, are looking to hedge funds, greater regulation. And certainly I think it's almost certain that there will be required registration. There probably will be the option for the government to peer in certain contexts into the books of hedge funds where they believe that because of certain market phenomena there's a systemic risk. But the plain truth is regulating hedge funds is a very difficult process and doesn't make the sense that a lot of people would like for it to make. But because this opacity that we've talked about is a part of the strategic attitude of a hedge fund, and almost in the same way that you as an inventor or writer would have to reveal, say prior to copyright, exactly what you're doing and you'd see it stolen by others, society actually has a vested interest in letting creative people working with other people's money to devise strategies, so long as the people investing know that there's a risk because of that opacity. There are really two kinds of regulatory recalcitrance that we have to pay attention to as we look at hedge funds. One is the recalcitrance, the reluctance and difficulty in managing creative activity through government imposition of standards. If we expose, if we make transparent everything that is happening inside of a hedge fund, again, we tend to dilute the ability of creative entrepreneurship. Now, I mean, to see this regulatory recalcitrance in another context, just think of what happened when governments in the Soviet era, Eastern Europe, tried to regulate the arts. It, in effect, suffocated the creativity that might be there. But another kind of regulatory recalcitrance is even more important, and that has to do with the inability of regulators either to get the facts they need, if they could get those facts, it being excessively costly. If you stop and think about a hedge fund operation, and as I explained earlier, it's an operation that involves a hedge fund being able to do almost anything, and given the thousands of hedge funds in existence, keeping track of the activities of those hedge funds would be almost as difficult as keeping track of the economic activity of everybody in a small nation state. Terribly difficult. Now, what has happened with the Obama proposal, which, as I speak now in 2009, is on the table, is an attempt to manage and regulate, but only to a limited extent. And I support that limitation on the regulation of hedge funds.